The squirrel. Is there a squirrel?
There is, yeah.
I like Charlene's character a lot.
Yeah.
Because it really looks like Charlene to me. And other things.
I have a soft spot for Charlie. But that's because Panda does also.
Yeah. It's funny because all our secondary characters have kind of, each one has aligned with one bear in a way. So Nom Nom has attached himself to Grizz, or Grizz has attached himself to Nom Nom. Charlie is attached to Panda, and obviously Chloe and Ice Bear are more of a pair. And it's kind of interesting how each character's personality kind of felt like they matched another one. It felt a nice kind of contrast with them. So it's kind of cool how that kind of all naturally came together. Being Asian American, I think it was important to me to obviously include a lot of diversity into the show. I'm not Korean, but my girlfriend is, and Chloe's based on my girlfriend's niece. And she actually was with me when I created the concept for the bears. I was in a library with her, and she was about 10 at the time, which is about the age of Chloe. And she was kind of, not the inspiration, but she was with me as I was like having fun with it and kind of showing it to her, having her laugh and like building on it. So it felt really natural to include her as part of the show, and and it felt like it kind of filled out. I mean, obviously the bears are kind of more adults, and it felt good to kind of add a younger element to the show.
I think it's also cool that it seems really organic in the show, so that it seems one of the great ways to have diversity is to not also hit it over the head where you're like, hey, it's about diversity. There's something very like almost insulting about that. I feel like when it ends up that way, it's like, hey, look what we're doing, as opposed to, yes, there are Asian people in the show. People, like they happen to be Asian.
Yeah, the show takes place in a city, so I think it really lended itself to just natural diversification. You know, I didn't have to, like Demetri said, like kind of force it or shine a light on it and make people wonder why that decision was there. I think it just kind of naturally fit in because, you know, you're in a big metropolitan area and you're in San Francisco of all places, so there's just tons of different nationalities there. I mean, I think the characters are drawn very simply, first of all, just from an aesthetic standpoint, and I think it's got a very inviting art direction from our director, so I think it kind of brings people in, you know, in a very kind of welcoming way. But I think a lot of it's also the characters and, you know, who they are, and they relate to people. I think people understand where they're coming from, and, you know, just trying to fit in somewhere, I think is a pretty universal thing, so I think most people all over the world are kind of latching onto that and kind of finding identity through these guys.
Bears are very cosmopolitan. I think if you brought a bear to any city, people would notice it and they would respond to it. So I think, you know, whether you're Chinese or Indian, Canadian or Texan, you know, like bears, you know, they really bring people together, and then they will rip people apart literally. So I think there's something.
Grizzly Man?
Yeah, there's a paradox. just layers to a bear. You know? Right. That's my opinion. That's not Cartoon Network. That's my personal belief.